Kirk Hilliard.
And this is Rusty Bird on the Kirk and Bird Show. We are in the middle of high school football playoffs here in the great state of Virginia. And so we're blessed to have, we're gonna do 3 different shows tonight, y'all. So this is the first one. This one has some of the biggest metropolitan areas, greatest athletes, all that stuff. So we got first-time visitor to the show, Mark Ragsdale, who has a podcast down in the 757 called Sports Talk with Rags, and he knows 757, and he especially knows about those Western Branch Bruins. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Hey, thanks a lot, Rusty, and I appreciate you and Kirk having me. And yes, been following Western Branch football since the fall of '87, and graduated from there in '94, and this is the first time that a Bruin alum has led the football program in Rashad Cook, and looking forward to talk about the Bruins and their playoff run and other 757 teams during tonight's show.
Yeah. All right. And then we got Larry Legend of Ball and VA Podcast. Now y'all know Larry from our show a couple of times, especially at basketball season, breaking everything down throughout the state and especially the 804. But also, if you're on the Hampton Roads High School football Facebook page, Larry offers a lot of insight up there. So we got these 2 guys. We're going to talk about the 804 757 football, especially where they're going to be clashing against each other in these regional finals. So once again, welcome, Larry. Just tell us a little bit about your show and some of the things that you got going on, bro.
Man, you know, I got a podcast. I call it the hottest podcast around. Y'all know that. Yep. You know, no shade. Ball and VA Podcast, man. And all we do, man, we try to get. Thank you, man. Thank you. We just try to get anybody on, you know, flies in the past, present, future, you know, and just talk about, you know, what's going on in our area mainly. But, you know, we're just trying to reach out to everybody, man. We basketball, football, track, you know, trainers, whatever. We do it all.
Yeah, definitely check out Ballin' and VA. I love it, man. I love that show. All right, so look, guys, here we go. Kirk, you can start with some of the questions, but we want to. The way we're going to start this is let's talk about the game that just happened this past weekend, because we had a couple of upsets. One really, really big upset. Mark, you might know a little bit about that. So, all right. Let's get started with the game between Western Branch and Oscar Smith. That was the big game. And for those that don't know, last week on this show, I had on 757 expert. I had Anthony Robertson, famous Phantom, and we had Jay Golson on the show. And we had Kirk Hilliard. And if I'm not mistaken, on the show, we all kind of picked who we thought would win. Kirk, what did that go like?
Rusty was the only one that picked Western Branch. The other 3 of us picked Oscar Smith.
And Rusty, I hear that you're a Bruin alum there, being from Bethel.
That's right.
Go Bruins. Yes. That's right. Love the Bruins.
So
my wife with the Lake Braddock Bruin, she was a Lake Braddock Bruin.
Yes.
So just a lot of Bruins.
So everybody knows. We're going to feed these guys with questions because they can really drill down on the 757 and Richmond 804. So games that don't have teams in either of those areas, we're going to leave till some other segments. But we encourage you to just take a second and subscribe to our show. You can do it on your phone, hit subscribe. You don't have to have a YouTube account. You can find us on all the other platforms. And real quick, before we dig into Western Branch, Oscar Smith, Mark, where can we find you? And then right after that, Larry, where can we find you?
So Sports Talk with Rags is on YouTube. Also search Sports Talk with Rags, and also Apple Podcast. Search Sports Talk with Rags.
Are you live?
No. I end up taping and then dropping the episode later on after I'm done taping.
Okay. Larry.
I am on Instagram, Ballin and VA _podcast _804. I have Facebook, Ballin and VA podcast, also under Lee Merritte, and on Twitter, TikTok, Lee Merritte and Ballin and VA podcast as well. And definitely, subscribe and check out our YouTube channel as well under Ballin and VA podcast and Morissette Media.
All right. Yep. All right. So, Rusty, let's serve it up.
All right.
We had an upset, and I don't know if it's that big of an upset now. Obviously, I picked it wrong, but Mark, tell us about a big game. I did say last week, look out for Western Branch, and it's hard to beat a team twice. So let's talk about that win and then Western Branch going forward and playing in Manchester.
Yeah. So it was a rematch here of October 28th. Western Branch hosted Oscar Smith in their last regular season game, and it was a hard-fought game, but Oscar Smith won 2-0. So Western Branch practiced hard, got past Franklin County, and the rematch was at Oscar Smith, their last Friday night regional semifinals. Oscar Smith won the coin toss, and they elected to receive. And Western Branch did an angle pooch kick. The ball, you might have seen it on social media because it's definitely gone viral with Larry Rabamba there, the Virginia Pilot, covering the game. The ball died there at the 15 in play, and Western Branch fell on it. And so it was first.
But that was the opening play. I saw it, but I didn't realize it was the opening kickoff. The young man must have thought it was a punt, like had that in his mind.
Right. And usually the way teams have gone these days, when they win the coin toss, they defer to, when they start on defense. But Oscar Smith, they wanted the ball, and Western Branch, when they fell on the opening kickoff there at Oscar Smith's 15, after about 3 plays, it was Shamik Blizzard from 9 yards out to start the scoring. And Oscar Smith then took the next drive down to Western Branch's 10, and the Bruins defense stood tall, and Western Branch took that turnover on down possession and went 12 plays, 90 yards, and PJ Billups ran it in from 11 yards out. So right there in the beginning, it was 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns, and while you're getting settled in your seat, it was already 14-0 Western Branch in the first quarter.
So Mark,
Mark,
go ahead.
I just wanted to ask, are you around the team during the week? I know you talk to the coach, each week, but are you ever around the team? And what was the atmosphere going into that game?
Yes, it's this is my second year doing something brewing with Coach Cook. Day before every Bruin football game during the season, the only weekly high school football coaches show. And I was able to talk to the team last Tuesday after practice, and the team, they had the look in their eyes that they were ready for the rematch, even though they had to go over to Tiger Drive. And Oscar Smith beat Kellum pretty easily in the quarterfinals, but Western Branch, they hadn't beaten Oscar Smith since the fall of 2003. So they were ready to beat Oscar Smith. And I mean, Oscar Smith did come back there in the third quarter with their defense forcing a turnover, and it was 14-7. But then the cornerback, Jamari Parker, that's a freshman, read the quarterback's eyes, intercepted a screen pass, and took it 40 yards to the house and Riley Higgins, the kicker, made it a 21-7 game. And then Oscar Smith, they threw a deep pass, and PJ Billups intercepted, took it to the Oscar Smith 25, and then in a couple plays, PJ Billups called his own number, and It was 28-7 there with about 6 minutes left to go in the game. Fans on the Oscar Smith side were starting to
walk.
Yes.
All right.
So Oscar Smith did score another touchdown with about 3 minutes left to play in the game, but they did not receive the onside kick, and Western Branch held on to win 28-14. And Manchester, I don't know if Larry saw it, but Manchester went on the road to Thomas Dale, and that was a great regional semifinal matchup there in the 804.
Yeah, Larry, tell us about that game, because I will admit I picked Thomas Dale to win this because my cousin Sam Young and his son Sam Young Trey are associated with the program. But since Trey the third, since he graduated, and Sam Jr. is not on the sideline, maybe that's why they lost. Go ahead, bro.
No, man, you know how you do with your picks, man. You be wilding, man. You know, you be going out on a limb like Tina Marie sometimes, man. But, no, but I didn't attend that game. I followed it on Twitter. I had another engagement I had to be at, so I was following on Twitter. But you know, Manchester jumped out on them 24-7. So Manchester plays good at home. Like I said, they're a young team, and you know, ever since they lost to Highland Springs, I think what helped Manchester again, ever since they lost to Highland Springs, is they put another quarterback in as a sophomore. Both of their quarterbacks that came in were for transfers out of state. I think one's from Texas and one maybe from Ohio. So the freshman can throw the ball really good, and then the sophomore quarterback can run the ball very well. He's an athlete. So that was the game changer for them. So as far as concerned, that kind of changed their season around because they got thrashed by Highland Springs. It wasn't even close. I mean, you know, but Thomas Dale, I have not seen before. I just heard about him again, but I wasn't sold on him just about who they played. So here we are.
Yeah. I was just going to point out that Western Branch has 2 losses. They did lose to Kings Fork, but that was close.
Yeah.
Kings Fork is alive, and we'll talk about them. And then they lost to Smith 2-0. I thought their kicker false started, and it should have been a dead ball, and they should have kicked it again. But Western Branch. Manchester, you said they did get blown out by Highland Springs, but that's their only loss. They got some quality wins. This is a really, really good game. We talked a little bit about the past games. Mark, just take a minute and tell us what the strengths are for Western Branch, what they need to execute on. And then the flip side, let's go to you, Larry, and then let's make predictions. All right?
Well, on the offensive side here, we have number 8, Trotman as the quarterback. This is his second year leading the team, a senior. And then in the backfield has number 9, Shamik Blizzard. And then with the wideouts, got, you know, everyone knows about number 1, Paul PJ Billups. Then also number 2, CJ Frazier, and number 6, Devin Cook. Cook and Frazier and Billups play both ways. And then on the defensive side, like we already talked about, the freshman Parker and Kirk, you brought up the Kings Fork game. Parker, that took it to the house there against Oscar Smith, he took an interception against Kings Fork from the goal line, 100 yards to the house, a freshman. You know, and just, you know, the Bruins got a tough defense, held Oscar Smith at the end of October to only 59 yards and shut them down. You know, I expect the Bruins to do well come this Saturday afternoon.
So let me ask you this. 2 things. I mentioned this. What do you think were some of the residual effects from losing to Phoebus? Do you think that impacted Oscar Smith? Now, I know they beat Kellum, but Kellum still could be in that. We get off the bus and we're gonna, we already beat. But Western Branch had shut out Oscar Smith's offense. Just a few weeks before, even before Phoebus, and then Phoebus kind of gave Western Branch a playbook. And I mentioned that. It's like, look at, maybe like if you get out on them early, like you did, or you just show, hey, we're not scared. And you know what? Rob talked about the fact that it was going to be at Smith. Now, again, this is all in the same city, but sometimes playing on the road can be to your advantage, because you're just like, you want to see the crowd quiet. And when you do that, that's a lot of fun. But go ahead, Mark. What do you think? What was maybe going on with Oscar Smith?
I mean, so Oscar Smith started their backup quarterback. They were also down a running back. But the Kellum Oscar Smith game was 1 versus 8. I think Western Branch knew that they wanted it more here with the rematch, and with coming off the Phoebus, with their regular season finale. I think Western Branch just came in, didn't think about it. It's time to strap up the helmets and put the pads on, and let's play hard-nosed Bruin football for 48 minutes.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's get the Manchester side of it. I mean, Larry, Manchester only has one loss. They have some quality wins, and this is to go. This is a trip up to play the winner of Freedom Patriot. We don't want to say that's a foregone conclusion, but so tell us about Manchester, and why don't you make a prediction?
And Manchester won a state championship a few years ago, right?
Yeah, 2018. Yep. And see, this is my thing. That Manchester to me, they're overachieving again a year early. They're a very young team, as I said before.
Okay.
Now you have to think about it. There's a couple of ways that we can look at this. They played Western Branch last year. They had a lead on Western Branch last year, down in Chesapeake. And then I guess they lost it or whatever. I wasn't at the game, but I guess at the end of the game, somehow they managed to lose that game. And this could be a little bit momentum. Say we playing at home, and this could be an advantage to them. But like you said, when you're on a road team, you got nothing to lose. However, they on a 9-game, 10-game win streak right now. And when the last time I picked against the team, I said, you know what? They're rolling. They hot. Western Branch was coming off that win against Oscar Smith, which to me, I thought that if the quarterback didn't get hurt the first time, they probably would have beat Oscar Smith that game. So, that's just one of those things. But as far as a prediction, oh, man, I'm going to have to go ahead and do it. I'm going to go ahead and roll with the home team, man, and a close game, man. But it's only if Manchester can jump out on them early. If Manchester don't jump out on them early, they're going to lose that game.
Okay.
Mark, let me ask you. Did Western Branch just play their Super Bowl? Is there going to be a letdown?
No, there's not going to be a letdown. I think with being around the team and knowing the coach and seeing the eyes on these players, I think they're on a mission, and I don't expect a letdown there on 460 West to 288 there on Saturday morning.
All right, okay. Rusty, you got to make a pick. Thomas Dale, your friend's out, so
yeah. I'm just impressed by the fact that Western Branch beat Oscar Smith. That showed me some resilience, and I haven't seen Manchester, but I like Western Branch. Going on the road. I like 757.
Yeah.
Because I think in the end it's not gonna matter whoever plays Freedom. But we'll get to that later.
I agree.
I expect 21-14 Bruins.
All right.
I say it's about a close game. I agree.
Yeah. Either team can win it. All right. So this isn't a game. We got some other games where we know who's going to win. So this is not one of them. But I'm going to go with Western Branch. I think they've got better athletes. So
Mhm.
I think Western Branch has better athletes. So Western Branch 3-1, 3.757 guys. I will say this: look out for Western Branch, Freedom.
Yes.
Look out for Western Branch. They could do the whole thing, and we don't want to. We're going to have a show about the Fairfax County. Let's go to 5. Now this is we got to move because we got 3 teams. We got 3 teams. Let's start in 804. Okay, we got undefeated Highland Springs, who's played great teams out of state, and they're going to be facing our buddy Coach Troy Taylor at home, and they're going to be facing LC Bird. We'll move to this. I mean, Highland Springs is going to roll over. They're 9-3. Go ahead, Larry.
Shout out to Troy Taylor, man, Coach Troy Taylor, man. But let's just call it what it is. This is the Highland Springs Invitational. The Highland Springs can win this game. Let's stop even playing.
Yep. All right. That was easy. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I enjoyed Troy on your show too, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Good people, man.
Good
Yeah.
guy. Definitely good guy.
Mark, are you going to stay on the Highland Springs train?
Yes. Yeah. And I think with Highland Springs getting ready to move to 6A, this might be they're on a mission here with their last round in Group 5.
Okay.
Mhm.
And Mr. Bird,
Don't do it. Don't do it.
you have a fraternity
Don't
brother.
do it.
He's got somebody at
Don't
Kempsville.
do it.
He's got a
Don't do
relative
it.
at Kempsville.
Don't do it.
Look at my last name.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't play yourself, man. Don't play yourself. Just
I'm
go
telling
and pick Highland Springs and we can move on.
He has a cousin. He has a cousin.
And that cousin not gonna help him. That cousin not gonna help him save him to Highland Springs.
All right. So,
No. I'm gonna say this. I think the fact that Bird is from that area and has seen a lot of Highland Springs, they'll give them a decent game. They probably will give them the best game of everyone remaining. So I'm going.
No. Go ahead.
I'm going to.
Okay.
And,
All right. So-
and Lauren is a Hokie, so I'm going Highland Springs.
Okay. Lauren Johnson's a Hokie. So we're going Highland Springs. Now we got 2 7-5-7 games. We all think they're going to win it, but we've got Maury, Nansemond River, and then we've got Green Run, Kempsville. Great games. So I'm going to take Green Run and Maury, and I like Green Run playing Highland Springs in the championship, and I think they're the only team that's got a shot at beating Highland Springs, and I don't think they will. So there's some bulletin board material for you, those 4 teams left. Mark, you've seen more of them down there. What about Maury, Kempsville, Nansemond River? I mean, what do you think about this?
So I think in the Maury-Nansemond River, I think Maury's going to win with ease. And the Green Run, Kempsville, two beach teams, and they actually started the season against each other with Green Run host or naming their stadium after former coach Cadillac Harris. But I think Green Run, I think they're on a mission this year. I think they're going to win, beat Kempsville, beat Maury, and meet Highland Springs there in the Group 5 championship game.
Right. And you like Highland Springs, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Rusty, you've got to stick with your brother has kids of Maury.
Yeah, I have a niece who was a multiple-time state tennis champion at Maury the last 4 years, and now is at ODU. And I have a niece there that's an all-state track athlete, and I got their next quarterback, my nephew, who's an 8th grader now, who will be slinging that rock for them next year. I think Maury has a great program, but I'm concerned based on what I saw in the state championship last year. I kind of wonder how they're going to react when they get up against some real competition like Green Run or Kempsville. I'm not saying Nansemond River's not that good, but they beat Kickingham by just 7.
Yep.
And I see where I'm picking Maury to win the first game, but I just think the winner of the Kempsville Green Run game is going to beat them. And then I'm going to go with Kempsville. I know I'm all over the place because you see my paper
That's cool.
picks is
You're
one thing,
consistent.
but right now I've stayed Kempsville for a really long time. And we had the coach on the show. I love the fact that they run and throw, And so I think Kempsville they've been beat. The only losses in the last 2 years have been the Green Run.
Yeah,
They've had three losses, and they've been the Green Run. And it's kind of like Western Branch Oscar Smith.
Yeah.
Okay.
One key point, and we talked about this earlier. The weather's supposed to be good. So Green Run, Sling, Kevin White is he's going to be a great college player, probably not a quarterback because he's 5'10", I believe. But the weather's going to be okay. So those athletes that Green Run have, they're loaded with underclassmen also. I think they're going to be too much. So let's close out 5 and go to 4. But I was going to say this. Of the 3 other regions, I would say Green Run has the best chance to beat Highland Springs. I would say Stonebridge second. And they're going to meet in the semis if Stonebridge gets past Mountain View. And Stonebridge fans, we're going to cover your game in another segment. And then
hold on, Kirk. I got a question. What you're saying that the weather's going to be fine? I'm seeing the call for rain Friday and Saturday, and they're playing Friday night.
Changed. Okay.
Yeah, it must have changed.
Oh, good.
No,
Good
it's saying
correction.
60% chance of rain. Come on, Kempsville.
They're going to suit up DJ Dozier, man. All right. So, let's go to 4. 4's got a lot of 7-5-7. And let's start with a great game, and that is the Peninsula District Warwick Raiders. And they're going to be taking on Kings Fork. Great game. 2 7-5-7 games. Mark, let's get your take on that.
So Kings Fork out of the Southeastern District, finished second there. I think they're gonna battle and play Warwick tough, but I think at the end of 48 minutes, Warwick scrimmaged Western Branch to there at the beginning of August. Looked good. I know it was a scrimmage, but they had a great season. And I'm going with Michael Vick School. I'm going with Warwick.
All right. Good pick.
21-17.
All right. We'll make predictions, but let's go to Dinwiddie is definitely a Richmond team, and Coach Billy Mills might arguably have the best team right behind Highland Springs. They're playing an undefeated King George, who has a great record, by the way. Larry, what do you think? Tell us about Dinwiddie and what you know about this game coming up.
Man, Dinwiddie, man, is on a roll right now, and they're on a mission as well. But that King George team, man, as I told everybody, and I said, I looked at Rusty talking about Verona was going to run the table. Should have came and talked to me instead of humiliating yourself on camera like that, man. I told you, Verona just didn't have it this year, man. It just was different. King George got these 2 receivers, man.
The receivers are incredible.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw him in 7-on-7, man. My son tried to check one of them boys. I was like, no, you can't.
But and not taking away nothing from King George, they may make it a game, but I just think Dinwiddie, man, that's a tough team, physical team. They're young as well. But I'm going to roll with Coach Mills and Dinwiddie, man, to get that win over King George and move on.
Okay. All right. So, Rusty, let's make our picks, and then we'll pick the rest of them. We want to go through that quick because we got the other.
Larry didn't get a chance to pick in 5.
Oh, he didn't? He said he was going to Highland Springs. Larry, I'm sorry.
I'm saying the other side. Other side.
Yeah, Larry, sorry about that. Larry, my bad. I'm not a good MC. Larry, who do you like Green Run and Maury facing Highland Springs?
From what I've heard, because I haven't seen either team, but just from what I heard, I'm with you, man. I think Green Run, just basically from what I'm hearing, will be a better matchup for Highland Springs. So, in Highland Springs, one thing that they've always had a problem with is always been their secondary. So if you can throw the ball on Highland Springs, that's the way to stay in the game against them.
Okay. All right. So, Rusty, let's do ours quick because they're our experts. And then we'll pick the other games very quick. I like Dinwiddie, of course. All right. I'm changing here. I picked Kings Fork. I'm switching to Warwick based on all the things I've heard from my people down there. I like Warwick, and I like Dinwiddie to go on and play Loudoun County. And we're going to talk in depth about Loudoun County. And Rusty, I want you to just follow up with what I'm doing. And I think Loudoun County is going to face, by the way, guys, we can't talk about this because we're running whatever on schedule. Glass and Salem is probably the best quarterfinal game in the whole state. Unbelievable game. But I like Loudoun County playing Dinwiddie. I like Dinwiddie winning it all. So, Rusty, what do you say? You had Glass winning it all. So, who do you like, in the 757 and the Dinwiddie game?
Man, all right, 757. My analysis there is my frat brother is the head coach, Spring 90 #1. So we're going Warwick. But I would not be surprised if Kings Fork won. They've played a tough schedule and they've looked, good, most of the year. I honestly think Kings Fork will win this game, but I'm pulling for Warwick, so I'm going with my PD brother in Warwick, and then Dinwiddie, King George. Man, I know Dinwiddie, what they did to Thomas Dale. Whew, I mean,
yep.
They must be legit. But I'm gonna say this. I'm going to, if again, depending on this weather, it looks like it's going to be rainy. But those King George, man, I saw King George. My brother, my son, we had a 7-on-7 little groupings of all the high schools back in the spring, and it was King George, it was Freedom, it was Colonial Forge, Hilton, Colgan, and King George beat Freedom, and I think they tied. And I think King George beat everybody at that 7-on-7, and those receivers were just monsters. So I may be the only one going with King George just because that central part of Virginia does not get enough credit for the athletes they have down there.
They don't.
Yeah, and so
Fredericksburg, yeah.
It's some ballers down there, man. And so I'm going to go King George against Warwick. On the other side of the bracket, I have Kettle Run. And no shade to Loudoun County. My boy Jeremiah is up there. I love the coach. I love what they've done with the program. But Kettle Run they're undefeated as well. And that district has appeared tougher because this is the only playoff matchup where the districts go head to head, 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. And I just think Kettle Run, I've gone to some of their games over the years, and it's only like literally just 3 miles outside of Prince William County, very close to Patriot High School. They've got some good athletes, so I'm picking Kettle Run in that matchup. And then Glass, I definitely, you're saying Glass Salem is going to be a good game. I don't think I'll talk to Dre, but I'm like Glass, they tough. I think Glass is going to win there. It will be Glass. And I'm thinking King George in the final, and then we assess then.
All right. Who you like? Who you like winning?
I'm going with Dinwiddie. I got a friend, Coach Kerry Parker, that led Dinwiddie from 78 to 92. So, and I saw what Dinwiddie did against Thomas Dale. So I'm a Dinwiddie fan.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, I think if I didn't go, I'm gonna take. Dinwiddie's going to play Warwick. And I just wanted to point out to King George, if you need some motivation, only one person picked you, that's Rusty. So, and I like out of that Glass Salem, I'm going to take Glass, but they're both great teams. And I'm going to take Loudoun County in the final with Dinwiddie. So let's go down to 3. And this is also another bracket. We got a 7-5-7, a great 7-5-7 matchup. Let's talk about that, Mark. Phoebus, great team, undefeated, playing Lake Taylor, who squeaked by Lafayette last week.
Yeah, I like Coach Sawyer. I'm married to a Lake Taylor alum there with my wife, Elizabeth. But I think Phoebus is just too strong, and the way they manhandled Oscar Smith. So I think Phoebus is on to the state semis.
Okay. Larry, you don't have a dog in this race.
I sure don't.
But let's get your pick. Let's get your pick for the Phoebus Lake Taylor. I think I know who you're going to pick, and then we'll go to Rusty.
Yeah, it's called the Phoebus Invitational, just like the Highland
Springs. This
right.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely the Phoebus Invitational. Nothing against Lake Taylor. I haven't seen them play, man. But until somebody beat Phoebus, I'm rolling with Phoebus.
Okay. I will say
Yep.
this. I talked to somebody who knows Phoebus and Lake Taylor. They watched Lake Taylor last week. I got a scouting report. So Lake Taylor doesn't have the athletes. They run a almost like a variation of the veer. A lot of dives, quick runs. Phoebus is too physical for that. Their tight end, who he's probably their best player. He splits out in the slot and he'll go wide out. They're probably going to target him a lot over the middle. So Phoebus will be looking out for that. And their special teams suspect. They struggle on extra points, but Phoebus just has way too many horses, man. Phoebus is loaded. If they key on Jordan Bass, which I would do, Kamari Gray, they can give Ty Taylor, Nolan Boozy James, quarterback can rip them up. Defense, they've got players. They're just all around a great team. I do think this is the Phoebus Invitational. I like them facing the winner of Liberty Christian, and I'm going to pick Christiansburg to upset Lord Botetourt, and I like Christiansburg losing to Phoebus in the final. Oh, by the way, Brentsville, I like them beating Warren County, and Brentsville's going to go up against Phoebus, and unfortunately, they're facing a loaded Phoebus team. So we just roll through that. Rusty, the Phoebus Lake Taylor. I mean, do you think anybody can challenge Phoebus?
Yeah, I think if anybody can, it's going to be Lake Taylor. They've only got, I think, 1 or 2 losses, one being the Maury. And, but I just don't think from what I'm hearing, this is not Lake Taylor of old. And it might not even matter because Phoebus is just loaded. Like Phoebus to be I know people want to say, oh, class 3, class 5. No, it doesn't matter. No, it does matter. It does matter that a class 3 team is this big and this fast and this strong. Okay, because they're not a normal class 3 team. There are differences, folks. And Brentsville is a good example of that. Brentsville out here in Prince William County, not far from where I live. I went to their first round game, and they have a lot of talent. They have some good kids. I coach some of those kids in middle school and in youth football. But they are classic class 3 team, and they just don't have the size and the speed to stay up with a Phoebus that's playing in the Peninsula District and playing class 5, 4, 5, and 6 teams every week. I like.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut across. I'm hearing that Phoebus is moving up to 4 next year. Is that true?
They are. I was going to point that out. Yeah, they are. And a little nugget, Phoebus is going to have some players that aren't on the roster this year that are going to make the losses a little more palatable. Phoebus has got some players coming in at the skill position that are going to be very good. And, even though they lose Jordan Bass and Boozy James, they're loaded. So next year is going to look good. But, unfortunately, I don't think anybody – if Phoebus has an off day, they're so good. So I think Phoebus can play subpar.
But no, hold on now. I agree. Phoebus is good. May even be as good next year. But class 4 is different than class 3.
Yeah,
you talk about the whole state, and
I didn't say they're going to run the table. They're not going to run the table.
I'm saying class 4, they got to go.
It's going to be different.
The 804, and they got Verona,
Dinwiddie, and Verona will be back next year. I would say that. Yeah. This was the year you was going to be Verona. It would have been this year.
Okay.
So Verona will be there, I think, for 1 more year, and then I think they're moving up to 5.
Right. I don't doubt y'all, Phoebus, but I will say this, and I've said it before. Love Coach Blunt, the whole program. Y'all been in class 3 and 4 for a number of years, and y'all just got your first state championship. So you can be beat. All right. It may not be this year, but I thought all these other years, I'm like, why haven't they won multiple state championships?
4 years different.
Yeah, they was getting it done at AAA back, class 5, 6, and they couldn't get it done here. So let's not just think going up to 4, it's going to be like it is at 3.
It won't be a cakewalk, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So an honorable mention, we got another 757 team, Poquoson. For you folks that don't know the 757, Poquoson is a community that's part of York County that sits right on top of Hampton and butts up against York County. It's where York County, Hampton, and Poquoson all come together. So I want to say Terry Kirby and Chris Slade, if they would have lived literally like a block or 2 away, they would have been Poquoson Islanders. All right, Poquoson actually has a chance here. And when I say actually, they're a very good program. But King William has 3 or 4 losses. Poquoson has 3 losses. Their only bad loss was to Grafton. The other teams that they lost to were very good teams. I like Poquoson to beat King William and possibly beat the winner of, I think it's going to be Glenvar and Graham. But what do you know about Poquoson, Mark?
You know, I have a friend that graduated from Poquoson there in '94, Kevin Brandel. But you know, Poquoson, they struggled there at the end of the regular season, and I appreciate you know, you guys adding them here to the segment. I mean, they finished the regular season on a 2-game losing streak, but here in the playoffs, and they're coming off of a nice road win versus Thomas Jefferson. I know that King William is the reigning Group 2 state champ, but I'm riding the wave there with Poquoson, and I'll go out on the limb and just continue Poquoson riding on a high there through the state championship.
All right. Make a pick, guys. We're going to close out.
King William, man, they lost 28-7 to Norcom, 35-0 to Lafayette, and 26-13 to Essex. They're not the same team that from last year. The running back left to go to Wake Forest.
Right.
Remember Patrick King, the longtime former Hermitage coach. He was the offensive coordinator last year. He's no longer there.
Yeah.
So, you know, but and Poquoson beat TJ last week from up here, who I thought TJ would at least, you know, I thought they was going to get back there because they've been hot the last couple of years, man. But Poquoson beat the TJ team. So, you know, since my people up here have a problem with me not supporting the 804, I'm a realist. You know, I keep it real.
Right.
But I'm going to roll with Poquoson in this one, man. I'm not going to pick King William this time.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with King William. I know. I mean, they're defending champs, and yeah, they had some close games, but I just think, you know, their schedule, you know, allowed them to go through some ups and downs, and so I think that King William, who's been there recently, will beat Poquoson,
Right.
even though that's 757 and it's right there, right beside Hampton. Yeah, I still, you know, I would normally try to pull for those teams, but I think King William. I just want to
play
be
with
right.
house money, man.
Yeah.
Elliot Duty has been there a while. He's done a really good job. Poquoson used to be bad in football back when Phoebus.
Oh yeah, they were bad back when we were in school. Yeah.
And another guy, Bill Ward, is a coach there. They do a really good job. I'm going to roll with Poquoson. I think they could get hot like an NC State. So the Bull Islanders, this will be better than all your crab pots being full in the back river and the York River. So, all right, guys, check our podcast out, The Kirk and Bird Show. Do us a favor. Just we got plenty of views. We want subscribers. Mark has got Sports Talk with Rags. You can find it on YouTube and Apple. Larry is everywhere. And basically,
I'm everywhere, man.
Watch them on YouTube. If you Google Ball and VA, it all comes up, but it's Morset Media, and then he's on all the platforms. So, guys, appreciate you being on, and take us out, Rusty.
All right. Hey, look, we appreciate you again being on the show. Mark, you know your stuff, bro. We got to get you back more often. And Larry, come on, bro. 804 all the way. You know, but I like how you kind of realistic with some of your picks as well.
Yeah, I'm not like y'all 757 people. Some of these 757 people just going to pick 757 just because we don't do that up here. Up in 804, we realist. We pick what's right. We don't pick that. Okay, we from down here. We're gonna support our own.
Freedom's going to beat Western Branch, but look out for Western Branch.
Oh, hey, watch out for my boys, the Bruins. They're on a mission.
Don't be surprised if they win, by the way. So
yeah, I'm not surprised about that. I think Western Branch may pull it off, man. But just Manchester playing at home, you know, you might give them a little edge, but wouldn't be surprised if Western Branch pull it off.
And follow me on Facebook because I'll be videoing the game there on Saturday afternoon.
And I will be there, so I may go on live in the group So I will be at that game looking out for my man Cook, Demetrius Cook. You know, he gonna be, you know, Western Branch shall he die. So, but I definitely be at that game.
My son is going. We're going to visit Virginia State on Saturday. We're going to the basketball game at 5:00. So I don't know if you're finished with the football game in time. Maybe we can meet up at V State.
Okay,
if you're not busy. Okay,
that's not
at
too
5.
far. That's not too far.
Rashad Cook is a Virginia State alum.
All right.
That's right. That's right. Yep. Yeah, my son wants to. I think he's really feeling Virginia State. So we're just gonna take some more visits and stuff. But we'll see.
Yeah, next time when y'all get me on with some of them Phoebus cats or whoever it is, man. You know, so we can talk some trash, man.
Okay. Hey, but look, I'm one of them 757 loyalists. That's usually the tiebreaker. But I also, when I've seen you with my eyes, like I've seen Freedom, I've seen certain teams. I got to go with what I've seen.
Mark, somebody got to bring some objectivity on the show.
Well, hey, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. We'll close with this nugget because I don't know how many people watch it, but I think you picking King George to beat Dinwiddie is the biggest call out of this whole segment, and then the EC Glass Salem. I think you're sleeping on Salem. That's a good one. I like EC Glass also. But hey, this has been the Kirk and Bird Show. Rusty, we are